Well, welcome in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital. My name is Landon. I'm joined by Austin, and this is our What Went Right, What Went Wrong, and What Was Missing Against Missouri episode for the final home game of Mississippi State's season. Finally, time to put the home games at Davis Wade behind the fans for this year. Austin, man, as far as what went right in this game, not a ton. We'll get to that in a second. I did want to mention, it is officially Egg Bowl week, so I did want to mention the programming this week is going to be outstanding. We got an episode with Tyler Siskey tomorrow talking about the Egg Bowl, his experience coaching in the Egg Bowl, and just about the rivalry. That's going to be really great. Got a few more guests on this week that we're still trying to nail down, but we will have former SEC running back, Mississippi State running back Vic Ballard joining the show Wednesday. We'll have a preview Friday morning of the actual Egg Bowl, and it's going to be a good time. Austin and I will actually be there. I've lived in Mississippi for 9 years. I never had gone to Oxford until this weekend, so I'm very excited about that. And Austin, we get to finally go to Oxford, man. Get to be a part of the Egg Bowl this week. Are you nervous? Are you nervous? People are gonna, I don't know, pelt you with something?
No, I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous. As a Mississippi State fan, we will be standing on business, and I'm not too nervous about all that. But yeah, it's gonna be. I don't know. I mean, I think the line came out today. I think it was like 25, 24 and a half, something like that. It could get ugly. I heard Robbie Falk from On 3. He said that they could, they probably want to drop 80 points, because they want to rack up the scoreboard, and I could definitely see not 80 points. There's no way that's going to happen, but I could definitely see them wanting to get that scoreboard up for sure. So it's going to be a crazy experience.
The question really is, are they going to be is Ole Miss over it, because of their loss to Florida and being eliminated from the playoff? Are they done? Which, by the way, I'm not fully convinced it's over for them because of the amount of teams that lost yesterday. If Texas A&M would have won, if Alabama would have won, I think it would have been a little bit more definitive. But I don't know. I'm just saying there's been crazier things happen. But yeah, you do have to wonder, is this team going to be like, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. People are going to opt out. That's the part that I wonder. But you're right. I could see a situation where Lane's like, hey, you know what? Let's continue to score as many as we can. Let's win the Egg Bowl. Do your thing. I know that he knows Jeff Lebby, but I don't even think he's worried about personal relationships right now. I think he's probably just so frustrated on what in the world, what's going to happen, what's going to happen next. And so I don't want to get too far ahead. We'll cover a lot of this stuff throughout the week this week on MPW Digital. Make sure you're locked in and make sure you follow us on Twitter, just at MyDawgsPod, as you see right there going across the ticker. Austin, but this show is what went right, what went wrong, and what was missing against Missouri. Mississippi State drops another game. Still winless in the SEC. They drop it 39-20. But let's start off on the positive. Let's be positive for a second. Before we get to what went right, Austin, I do want to make sure everybody knows that this episode is brought to you in part by Arpa's Coffee Bar in the Cotton District. Arpa's is a great place. You and I went there yesterday. It was fantastic. But Arpa's understands that great food and drinks are best enjoyed in the company of friends and loved ones. Their awesome and inviting atmosphere creates a great place for awesome conversations, shared memories, and whether you're just seeking a good spot to catch up over coffee, a lively gathering place, especially after the game. Man, there's a lot of folks there to celebrate a great occasion, or just a good hangout spot. Arpa's has you covered. It's located in the heart of the Cotton District in Starkville, right behind Two Brothers. Mention My Dogs Are Barking. Mention that you heard about them on the show. You get 15% off of your order. So make sure you do that. Austin, what went right for Mississippi State against Missouri?
First, I got to say not much, to be honest. Not much went right. If I had to pick something, I'd say the second half running game. I feel like Davon Booth was really had a good jump. Johnny Daniels really couldn't get any any big runs going. He got a couple medium runs. But not a great game for him. But Davon Booth, he only has one more game in a Mississippi State uniform, and it really sucks that he's just finally stepping up. But yeah, that's the only thing I could pick out of this game. But I'm glad for him that he can't really celebrate the fruits of his labor, because he's been balling out these past few weeks, and we've still been getting blown out. So it's rough. It really is rough for him. But I'm finally glad that he got to show what he can do in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, he had back-to-back 100-yard rushing games, and you had to wonder, man, if State would have had any sort of running game against Arizona State, a game they lost by 7 but could not run the football, would that game have been different? Um, who's to say anything about the Toledo game? That's just that is one of the most just head-scratching games of all time. Because Toledo, the rest of the year, Toledo's not burning the whole world down. Like, they're not a great team anyway. Not even gonna go. I don't even remember what our episode was like after that game, Austin, but it has to have been awful. It has to have been terrible. I'm the same way though. Davon Booth, 124 yards on 12 carries. I've called him boom or bust Booth because it's like he either gets the ball and goes like -1 yard or he's going 20 yards. It's so crazy. Not a lot of in between, not a lot of little 3 yard gains or 4 yard gains. He's either going all the way, and he had some really impressive moves. But that's where what went right ended. I mean, the defense had their first 2 drives were fairly successful. But the rest of the game, I mean, it's the same as it has been every single week, man. Like every single week, it's the same story. The defense could not, or the offense could not overcome the defense's shortcomings. And honestly, the offense deserves a lot of blame. I mean, 10 first half points versus this team is just not, it's, you know what I mean? It's just, they could have done so much more. And that's a disappointing part. That's where the offense gets some of this blame as well. And it all seemed to have twisted. The momentum started to shift the moment Michael Van Buren fumbled that ball there on the 50-yard line. Arkansas's I think it's Carnell. I can't remember his first name, but took it back for like 48 yards for the touchdown. And at that point, the game just seemed to completely flip. Mississippi State's offense, Coleman Hutzler will get his fair share of blame. But Mississippi State's offense deserves a fair amount of blame as well. They did not pick up the pieces here. So what went wrong for me in this game? I know the defense we could talk about forever, but the offense did not hold up their end of the bargain. In order to win games this year with the Showtime offense, this flashy offense, they've got to do their part, and they just didn't. In the second half, they got some things going, but it's too late. The defense has already played so many plays; they're exhausted. What went wrong in this game? And I would just say that the offense did not hold up their share of the bargain. I know the defense is a huge part of it, but the offense deserves some blame.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of following you, I would say just momentum. In that first quarter, we held with them. We had the lead to start the game, but as you talked about that fumble from Michael Van Buren, that like strip fumble, that ended the momentum, and then we never got it back. I mean, that was rough. That definitely went wrong because I mean, I don't know. It just took all the energy out of our guys. We were never the same after that until, I mean, I guess the fourth quarter when our offense kind of decided they wanted to play again. But yeah, they were terrible. Our defense was getting stops to start the game. I mean, our defense was not looking bad at all, to be honest. But after that strip sack, I mean, we just weren't able to get anything. It took out all the momentum from this team, and we were looking rough. And then our defense decided they don't want to play again, and they were getting touchdown, missed field goal, made field. I mean, they were just making, and every single possession they were getting points, or they missed that one field goal. It was very ugly after that game. But what went wrong was definitely the momentum.
Yeah, shifted over there towards Arkansas for sure. And before we even get to what was missing, I did want to comment this. So we were, we talk about my dogs were credentialed in this game, so we got to cover the game, which was a cool deal, and got to be in the room with Jeff Lebby during the press conference, and he said something, Austin, that was concerning. Robbie Falk, to Robbie's credit, asked him about the staff, about the confidence in this defensive staff specifically, and what needs to change in the offseason. I mean, really, Robbie asked everything you can ask. You can't just go and be like, "Hey, and I know people online want that to happen, but like when it's different when you're, I mean, he's got a job to do, and so he asked that question, and Jeff Lebby's response is that he has a lot of confidence in those guys, and he sees the work they put in every single day. And as I was walking away, I was like, man, how could you say that? But the other part is, what is he really supposed to say? Is he supposed to say like, yeah, as soon as we can, man, we're gonna let him go? Like what really can you say in that moment that makes any sort of sense for like what you can put out there in public?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think, I mean, you were talking about this. Yeah, this isn't Jeff Lebby doesn't just show up on Saturdays to coach a game. He's in there with Coleman Hutzler every single day. That's a full-time job coaching the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and defensive coordinator, that's a full-time job as well. He's with those guys every single day. He can't just be like, yeah, we're probably going to let, Hustler's just not doing it this year. We're going to let him go. Like, that just can't happen. So I don't know if it's concerning. I was talking to you about this yesterday. Jeff Lebby is the definition of coach speak. All his answers, he flies through the answers. He talks a lot, but he really doesn't say much in those answers. And so he's not going to let you know. He's not that type of guy, and he shouldn't be that type of guy. I think what he said was perfect. Honestly, I think that's what he needed to be saying, because we still have work to do. We still have one more game against one of the best offenses in the whole country. And so we gotta just rally the troop for one more game. That's all there is.
That's right. It'll be Egg Bowl time. And then, I know a lot of Mississippi State fans are hoping that Hutzler will be let go. He'll be paid a very handsome, what do you call it? Severance buyout. And at that point, man, if he's not already, he'll be very rich. But hey, what does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Skip Langley is your Batesville, Mississippi Edward Jones advisor, serving clients in the area and across the state of Mississippi. You can count on him for financial strategies that can help support a life you love. Because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. So contact him today at 662-563-9843. That's 662-563-9843. And together, you can find your rich. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Austin, what was missing in this game? I mean, what could have, if it was placed in there, what could make this game a little bit different of an outcome than it was?
Honestly, this whole game it was a rough game for sure. I think we all know that. A lot of things were missing, a whole lot of things were missing, but we just, we couldn't get it done in I feel like all three facets of the game. We weren't very good. If I had to pick one, it's so hard. It's so tough. You got so much stuff going on. You got Eli Drinkwitz talking crap to our players at the end of the fourth quarter. And when it was just, man, it was haywire. But if I had to pick, I would just say when we gave up. What went missing was our defense just getting stops after, I'd say, the first quarter. We just couldn't get any stops. We looked terrible. And I think Jeff Lebby knows. We're going to talk about recruiting in a few minutes, but Jeff Lebby knows that he does not have the guys in offense and defense. Jeff Lebby knows that he does not have the guys this year to compete. And so, he tried to do the best he could. And obviously we're looking at a 2-9, probably 2-10 season. And we're going to have to get better with all facets, literally every single position that we have. We have to get better. We have to get another player. We have to get more depth. Literally every single position. And so what went missing was just, the defense didn't play, but literally we only got one more right, wrong missing. There's only so much we can say, because we talk about this literally every single weekend. It's rough out here. It's rough out here for the Bulldogs. I don't really know what else I can say. The offensive line didn't play great. Well, I said that last week too. 2 weeks ago, I said the defensive line, they also didn't play great this weekend. It's every single week we're saying the exact same thing, and it's annoying to be quite frank.
Yeah, we've done the same show for so many weeks in a row. Just it's the same story, so I won't even go over it again. What was missing for Mississippi State against Missouri is a pass rush. They could not get to the quarterback. Because of that, he had all day to throw. Because of that, the secondary could not cover Luther Burden III, the top 10 pick in the NFL draft, which, get ready, because you're going to see some NFL highlights. Whenever he gets drafted, they're going to say, this guy's explosive. This guy flies all over the field. And it's going to be him making Kelly Jones look silly out there. I don't know. That's something we've talked about. And even Levy talked about in the press conference that there is a talent issue up front, and those guys work hard and yada, 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 yada. But there's a lot that has to be replaced next season. And as I was looking at all the different people who are either currently committed to Mississippi State, like even just from JUCO, like the amount of people and starters that Mississippi State is going to get just from JUCO that is still going to be an upgrade over what they have now, really is pretty crazy, man. Xavion Hardy, I hope they hold on to him, because he's the number one defensive lineman in all of JUCO, and a really, really good player. And he put a guy on the team right now and then make some sort of a difference, So the Bulldogs have a lot to do. And we already knew that. We knew that. But it's the same song and dance every single week, man. There's no pressure on the quarterback, nothing they can do. But Mississippi State did get some help today, Sunday, from a couple of players that committed over the weekend. So we will get to that in just a second, right after this word from Neil.
All MPW digital podcasts are brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it remarkably well. The doctor is introducing their new go-to IPA, Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley in Washington. Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. The pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze, soft mouthfeel, an aroma and taste that's full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. They also have Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from Yakima Valley. Expect pungent grapefruit flavors and aromas, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. Again, it's Parish Brewing Company. Wherever you get your beer, check out Parish. Make sure that you look for them, because any beer that you get from Parish is going to be absolutely outstanding. Thank you from MPW Digital.
Mississippi State did get some help. Help is on the way. Specifically, offensive line. Spencer Dallin, the former Auburn commit, the offensive tackle, committed to Mississippi State. A 6'6" young man that is going to provide some help, especially some depth for Mississippi State. He transfers in. Also, Kennesaw State transfer secondary player Jalen Williams comes in. He had entered the portal, had a successful season at Kennesaw State. Obviously, their actual season was rough, but he had a good season. You do wonder with guys like that, though, like how are they going to do on the talent level is just so much different, coming in from what he was going up against versus the SEC guys. And then also number one JUCO tackle Saquon Miles from Hines Community College. Shout out to my dad's alma mater and your dad's alma mater also. From Hines Community College, Saquon Miles, another guy that hopefully will be able to provide Mississippi State. Just give them some options for this offensive line, especially with combining Luke Work there on the offensive tackle. Jimothy Lewis will have another year to get better. McKylan Pounders has another year of eligibility. I don't know if he's even going to stay at Mississippi State, but the Bulldogs are giving themselves options in terms of what they can do. You would imagine Spencer Dallin said he likely will be an inside player at the next level. So I would imagine he'll either be the right tackle or one of the guards, but keep the left tackle open for Saquon Miles, hopefully. So Mississippi State got some help on that side of the ball. But Austin, there's still miles and miles to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was good that we had to get some people in the offensive line, and we did that. These two guys, I don't know how big of a difference maker is, and they are going to be year one, but maybe not next year, but like 2026, these guys have a good year. Maybe they can play, but I mean, we had to get guys, we had to get more depth on the offensive line, because we have a whole lot of players on the offensive line, but none of them are good. And so we don't play a lot of them because they're not even good enough to even try out. And so it's been really rough for that room all year long. I mean, really just Mississippi State history. I feel like we never really had a great offensive line. And hopefully Jeff Levy, he acknowledges that, he knows that, and we gotta work on that. And then the corner from Kennesaw State, I don't really expect much out of him, to be honest. I saw he had an 84 grade out of, and so 3-star transfer. He had an interception last year. Maybe he'll probably be a good depth piece. I don't think he's not going to start over Bryce Pollock. He's not going to start over Kelly Jones, or I don't even know about anybody. I don't know if Diego Broomfield has another year or not. I don't know.
No,
I
he's done.
I think he's just going to have. I think he's just going to be a really good depth piece for us, and we need depth. That's why I'm not mad at it. We need to. I'm saying, I don't care who we get. We just need as much players as possible in this portal, because we got to get more depth. Like I said, literally every single position, every single room, we have to get more depth and better players, because unless we want to go 2-10 next year, which I know I don't. So yeah, these are some really good gets. We got to keep this going though. These next 2-3 weeks in recruiting has to be crucial for Jeff Lebby. We gotta get this train moving.
Yeah, right now the train's off the track. So going into Egg Bowl week, Mississippi State and Ole Miss are both disappointed, but for very different reasons. Like I said, we will have a lot of coverage about this actual game coming up for those who do care. But we did want to make sure this main focus was just talking about Missouri. You mentioned Eli Drinkwitz. That looks like a broken man. If you see him over there yelling at the defensive line for Mississippi State, just looks like a broken man. He's like, you know what I can do? I can score on the worst team in the FBS. I can do that. He's all brokenhearted because his team's not making the playoff with the best roster he's ever had and probably will ever have. I mean, that's a talent wise, it's going to be hard to find a better quarterback than Brady Cook and a better receiver than Luther Burden. But anyway, it's rough. But we do want to thank you all for listening. I did want to ask you a question, Austin. And I asked him this. I think he asked you this last night. I can't remember what your answer was. As it sits right now, I know it kind of hinges on the decision with Coleman Hutzler, but as it sits right now, do you give Jeff Lebby, is he here over or under 3.5 years?
Yeah, it's tough. Like you said, we don't know about Coleman Hutzler. If I were to pick, I'd say yes. I'm a firm believer in Jeff Lebby. I know. I'm just watching this offense every single week. We don't look good right now, but if we get a decent offensive line, if we get some better players, Michael Van Buren's, he's got to play much, much better for us to compete in the SEC, to even make a bowl game. He's got to play much, much better because he's not performing at that level yet. But I firmly believe in Jeff Lebby, especially offensively. Defensively, I don't know what in the world we're going to do. But if this offense takes a major step next year, which I think it might, I could definitely see him getting his third year. And then that third year, I feel fantastic about. I really feel great about this year 3 in Jeff Lebby's offense, which I think will make him have another year. So I feel pretty confident that he's going to get 3.5 years, but he's going to have to figure this defense out. Or, we're going to have to get in shootouts, but our defense isn't good enough to even get a stop right now. So, I mean, we got to really lock in and get just a half decent defense, because right now we are the worst defense. I mean, in the league, it's insane. I've never seen anything like it. It's so terrible. But yeah, if I were to pick, I'd say 3.5 years. I like that for Jeff Lebby. I really do. Year 3 is going to be, I feel like it's going to be great. I really do.
I just have a tough time thinking that he can overcome I mean, think of the amount of talent and work it would take to overhaul this team into even a bowl team. But like Kenny Dillingham in his first year went 3-9. This year, I mean, if they win the Big 12 championship, they're in the playoff and doing really well in the second year at Arizona State. And if it's possible at Arizona State, it's got to be possible at Mississippi State. I would think. I don't know, man. It's tough for me to think that they can overcome and have such a big turnaround in year 2 to give him a third year, and then the third year to go to fourth. It's possible, but right now it is. I'm with you. I say over at the moment, over 3.5 years. I think he gets to a fourth year, but there's a lot of work to do, and he's a very smart offensive guy. But man, I don't know if he knew how talent deficient he would be on this team. Certainly Mississippi State fans did not. So, well, we are not going to continue to bang the drum. One more game left of the regular season for football. Mississippi State is going to be playing, or is playing, by the time this episode comes out, we'll have already finished playing Notre Dame in the women's soccer NCAA championship for a chance to win and go to the Elite Eight for Mississippi State. So very, very big deal there. They're in the Sweet 16 with a matchup against Notre Dame Sunday today. So shout out to the women's team. And we will have some more coverage throughout this week. Got a lot of really good stuff to get to. Mississippi State did have a big win over SMU on Friday night. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. Mississippi State's 5-0 and really playing with a lot of confidence for men's basketball. I'd be surprised if they're not ranked this week just because of the strides they've been taking. So we will have a lot of other stuff coming towards you tomorrow, an episode with Tyler Siskey talking about the Egg Bowl. So make sure you tune in for that. Thank you so much for listening to the My Dogs Are Barking podcast.